Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Social Success by Design podcast. I am your host, Kendra Woods, and I am so delighted and excited to be with you today, wherever you may be in the world at this very moment. I'm excited to be here with you. So we are in episode 6 right now. We'll be wrapping up our Unstoppable by Design series. But before we dive into today's episode, there's a couple of things I want to share with you. The first thing is I just want to express my sincere gratitude. I want to thank all of you so much for the amazing feedback that you are sharing with me regarding the show. I'm grateful for all of the amazing reviews that I'm seeing on Apple Podcast and over on Spotify, and your DMs, your emails. Like, I am so grateful that you are enjoying what we are talking about, that you're excited about this, and that you're here. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for listening, for sharing this with the people that you care about, and for your encouragement. And the second thing I want to share with you is I wanted to let you know that I currently have applications open for my 6 Figures by Design VIP Day experience. And I opened this up earlier this year, I think in the summer, and got such amazing feedback from it then. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this again. And so I want to share a little bit about this with you, because look at where we are, right? We are in November right now. We've got 2 months left of 2023, and we're going to be moving into a brand new year. So now is the time for you to be thinking about how you're going to be stepping into 2024, right? What are your goals going to be? What are your intentions going to be? What do you need to be getting in place right now and preparing right now so that you will be ready for 2024 when it rolls around? So this VIP Day experience is for you if you're a coach, a consultant, or a service-based business owner who is confident in her expertise and you're ready to take your business to new heights by harnessing the unique and amazing dynamics of your human design and your gene keys. This is for you if you're committed to securing your business for 6-figure success, right? Knowing that you have the potential to reach those heights. This is for you if you want to feel not just like successful, but also completely aligned with your message, with your offerings, and just how you show up in your business overall. This is also for you if crafting offers that align seamlessly with your strengths and natural talents has been a struggle and you're ready to overcome that challenge. You are prepared, you're ready to let go of the fear of rejection, criticism, and the burden of procrastination, and you're ready to align with your authority and begin taking decisive action that is right for you. This is also for you if developing strategic plans and setting clear business goals has been a sticking point, right? Leaving you feeling stagnant and unfulfilled. And last but not least, I would say this is for you if you really understand the value and understand and recognize the transformative power of focused one-on-one coaching and how it can revolutionize your business trajectory. So in this VIP Day, you and I will be spending 6 hours together diving into either your messaging, crafting content pillars, looking at your offers, and all of this customized to you based on your unique human design, based on how you are designed to communicate, based on the message you're here to share with the world, based on your gene keys, and how you are here to be the most prosperous, amazing version of yourself. So if this excites you and you want to know more and you're curious, I am currently accepting applications. At this point, I only have 3 spaces available because I'm opening dates this month in November and in December. And so if this speaks to you, please send me a DM that says VIP Day. Send it to me over on Instagram. You're going to find me at Soulful Success by Design, and I will then message you back, sharing with you more of the details so that you can read all the nitty-gritty details of the experience and determine if it is something that you want to be a part of. Okay. All right. So let's get into our topic today. So we are going to be walking through what it means to be a reflector within the human design system. So beautiful reflectors out there, this is for you. You are bringing up the end of our Unstoppable by Design series. And so we're going to discuss the purposes and the challenges and some alignment strategies for reflectors. So if you are a reflector, if you know a reflector, if you have reflector clients, get comfortable, grab yourself a pen and a piece of paper, and we are going to get started. All right, so first and foremost, let's talk about the reflector as the type and the strategy of a reflector. What you need to know first is that reflectors make up approximately 1% of the population, right? So reflectors, you are the rarest human design type. And so there's not many of you out there, right? I have had the privilege of, since I've started my, being in this human design industry and starting my own journey, I've had the privilege of being in the lives of 3 reflectors. One of them was a client, and the other 2 were colleagues that I connected with inside of various, masterminds that I've been a part of. And it is just so fascinating to be in the same environment and space with a reflector, because as you will see when we get into this, they quite literally reflect back to you. They are mirrors reflecting back to you your potential, and even the places where, right, you need to, where you get to do some more work on yourself. Okay, so the not self theme of the reflector is disappointment. And so when we think about this with reflectors, it's important to note that there are 2 sources that can trigger you into your not self theme of disappointment. And I'm going to just cover one of them with you here. And then once we get into your authority, I'm going to cover, not your authority, your strategy. When we get into your strategy, I'm going to cover the other. So the first source of your disappointment is in the world around you, right? Because you have this visceral knowledge of what is possible for all of humanity. Disappointment can show up when you see others not living up to their potential, right? When you look at the world and you see the gap between like the potential of humanity, the potential of an individual, and what is actually being created, disappointment sets in, right? If you have loved ones or just people that you're in community with and you see the amazing potential they hold, yet they're not, for whatever reason, giving themselves permission to fully live into that potential, or you see from a collective viewpoint, how the people in the world can be doing things different, or the potential that is out there, and you just see that the gap is so big and that what's being created is not in alignment with that potential. This causes you to really feel that disappointment, okay? Because of this too, like you can easily fall in love with the potential of another person, right? And then feel disappointed when they don't meet that potential. And so there's a song, it's an Ariana Grande song, and my daughter likes listening to some of her music. She can't listen to all of it, some of her music. And but she has this one song that's called In My Head. And there's a line in that song that says, what does she say? She says, I saw your potential without seeing your credentials, right? Every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, that's reflector vibes right there. I'm not sure what Ariana Grande's human design is, but just that one line, I saw your potential without seeing your credentials. And she's talking about how, she's kind of heartbroken because she could see the potential in this man, and she didn't actually pay attention to the actions and how this person was showing up and his credentials, right? She just fell in love with the potential. And so if you're a reflector, I want you to really sit and do some reflection on that, no pun intended, do some reflection on that about, where do you see yourself getting disappointed, or, just feeling, I don't know, disappointed because you're not seeing the potential being fulfilled in an individual or in the world or in the community. And the work that gets to be done there is supporting yourself in being with that disappointment and not letting it be the place that you take action from, right? But just being with it, recognizing it, giving it the space that it needs, and then remembering what you are here to do, right? And we're going to talk about your purpose here in a moment. So what makes you a reflector? When we get into the mechanics of human design and you see a human design chart, how do you know a person is a reflector? Well, how you know that is that reflectors are identified by all 9 of the centers being undefined or white. So if you were to pull up a human design chart and there's nothing, none of the shapes, none of the centers are colored in, they're all white, that person's a reflector. So instead of having any kind of fixed definition, reflectors have gate activations. And these gates form channels when they're connected to the harmonic or electromagnetic gate of another person's aura, or by transiting planets. Okay, and so that is important to know. Your aura is sampling. Okay, so you're here to read the energy and sample the energy around you without taking it in as your own. And, I have just in my studies, I can't remember where I read this or heard about this, but another way of describing the reflector's aura is kind of like, how on pans they'll put like a coating, like a Teflon coating or some type of non-stick coating, so that you can cook food in the pan and the food slides right out, right? It doesn't get stuck in the pan. This is another example of like the aura of a reflector. You're here to simply just sample the energy and let it slide right off you, right? Your aura is meant to be like Teflon. And so that's good for you to know, because remember, where we are undefined, we are taking in energy. So as a reflector, you're sampling all this energy around you. But the way that your aura works is that it's just there to taste it and sample it and then let it, roll off, so that you can then gauge the health and the well-being of the community that you're in and the environment you're in or the person that you're with. And you can reflect back what needs to be shifted or what doesn't need to be shifted, right? What gets to be amplified. Now, your strategy as a reflector is to wait through a lunar cycle. And I know when we hear this, I say this all the time with all the strategies, right? There is an element of waiting that is inherent in all of the strategies for all the types in human design. Reflectors, I can see that yours can really be frustrating, right? Because you got to wait through a lunar cycle to gain clarity, right? To really get clear on the right decisions and on the right way to move forward. And the right way to be activated into something is to wait through a lunar cycle. And I get that that's not easy in the world that we live in today. And this is where the second source of your disappointment comes from, right? Remember I said earlier, you're not self-themed as disappointment. And I said there were 2 sources. The first source was seeing the potential in the world and in others and is being disappointed because it's not being fulfilled. This is the second piece. And it has to do with your need for time. Okay, so your decision-making process involves you needing enough time to clarify what you need and want in the context of all the energy from the world outside of you that you're amplifying. Okay, and so I want you to note something here. When we are amplifying something, we're making it larger, we're making it more intense or more important than it really is. So this is why for you as a reflector, you need to have this time, because all of your centers are undefined. So you're amplifying all the energy around you. You are making the energy around you bigger, larger, more intense. And so for you to get clear on what's right for you and to be guided by what is authentic to you and not by all this energy you're amplifying, you need time, right? So allowing yourself the time you need, which is, again, that 1 lunar cycle, sometimes it could be more, so that you can sift through all this energy and connect to your own needs and to your own wants, your own desires, and, versus stepping into what you are amplifying, right? And making decisions based on the energy you're amplifying. You also need time to talk through your decisions and your decisions and choices with others while you're waiting for clarity. So you need to be able to see your decisions, your words, your reasoning, your thoughts reflected back to you in dialogue with others, because that act alone gives you clarity, right? Gives you the clarity that you desire. So have in your space, people that you trust, people that you can connect with, people who understand how you are wired and know that you need to talk things out and have things reflected back to you so that you can get the clarity you need when it comes to the decisions that you need to make in your life and in your business. If you don't give yourself the gift of time, which again, I get is not easy in the world we live in, then you may find that you jump into fast into decisions, right? You kind of make these knee-jerk reactionary type of decisions and choices that ultimately leave you feeling disappointment, right? They leave you feeling disappointed. They leave you feeling unfulfilled. And that's where that second source of your not self theme of disappointment shows up, is when you don't give yourself enough time. Okay. So in the real world, in real life, as much as you can before you make a decision, give yourself as much time as possible. Now, I get that depending on what the decision is that you need to make, you may not have a full lunar cycle to sit and gain this clarity. So if you've got a shorter amount of time and you're like, I really have got to make a decision soon, like maybe you've got to make a decision on, whether or not you're going to renew the lease on your current home or apartment that you're leasing, right? The lease is going to be up in like 2 weeks and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Or you're working in a job and they let you know that, oh, you know what, we're letting some people go. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Or someone's reached out to you to be a part of their team, to be a part of their company, or to collaborate in some way in your business. And you've got to make a decision soon, right? In those times, look at the time available that you have to you in those moments, and do all that you can to talk it out with people, to journal about it, to sit with it, to be in your own energy, to meditate, to go through all the thoughts and emotions and things that are moving through you and talk it out. Do as much of that as you can in that period of time that you have and get as clear as you can, and then move forward, trusting that, everything will work out the way that it needs to. So no need to freak out. I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have a whole lunar cycle to make this decision. I need to know something in a week. I need to figure this out in 2 weeks, right? Use the time that you have then in those situations. Right. But in the other situations where you can give yourself more time, then give yourself more time. Okay. All right. So let's talk about your role and purpose now as a reflector. So as I mentioned before, right, like you're here to sample, reflect, and judge the environments or communities that you are in on any given day. And so because all of your 9 centers are undefined, you're experiencing, remember, in an amplified way, the potential of what is possible for humanity. So you're literally here to mirror back, to be a mirror, reflecting back to us what is good and what needs to be transformed and what needs to be healed. All right. And a symbolism that, or a symbolism, a metaphor, if you will, maybe I'm saying that wrong, but that we share or that we connect with the reflector is being the canary in the coal mine, right? And maybe you've heard that before. It's a saying, right? The canary in the coal mine, because you are so aware and sensitive to your surroundings. So when, the miners would take a canary in the coal mine, if the canary would, start singing or being agitated, or, they would know, oh, wait a minute, like something in the environment's not right. There's, a gas leak somewhere. Something is not right. We need to pay attention. That's the reflector for you, right? You're able to let everyone know when things are toxic and when things are good. Like you're kind of like the barometer for the spaces that you were in, the communities that you're in. So you are the barometer for alignment. And so you're able to sense who is living authentically or who is living from their conditioning. And so essentially the power of what you see and reflect is the purpose of your energy. It's not your job to fix what needs to be fixed, but simply to reflect it back to others. And so use your life as a mirror for waking other people up, waking others up to their potential. And it's important that as you're doing this, to remember you're not here to fix, right? And to also remember that you're not here to take on and carry the energy that you're sampling, right? You've got to let it go and let it, slide off of you and then move forward, because you're just here to sample it. That's it. And reflect back. All right. Okay. So we got into purpose. Now let's talk about some of the challenges that you may face as a reflector. So number one is these challenges. First of all, let me say this. These can be challenges, right? And I share a challenge, like when I did the episodes for each human design type, I shared with you some of the challenges of each type. But I want to also say here too, that these can be seen as challenges, but with the right mindset, these can also be beautiful gifts, right? You can flip these and make these beautiful gifts. But I want to bring your awareness to some of the challenges, because a lot of the times we go through things and we think, oh, something must be wrong with me. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Why can't I just be consistent? Why can't I just work as hard as the next person? And we immediately then turn that in on ourselves and think something's wrong with us. Nothing is wrong with you, right? It's just that based on how your energy is designed, it may be a challenge for you, but it doesn't mean anything's wrong with you, okay? So the first challenge for you reflectors out there is lack of consistency, right? And so because you have an open and undefined chart, it means that you're highly sensitive, again, to your environment and the people that are around you. And so as a result, you may be challenged a little bit with consistency in your decision making and in your actions. And so your openness can make it difficult to know what's truly right for you. And so this is an area of kind of like your curriculum that you get to move through as a reflector to grow in, is to understand that you may be thrown off and not be as consistent as you want to be, because you are constantly sampling the energies all around you all the time, right? So this will be an area that you'll want to note and not make this be something wrong about you, but see how you can form your life and business around knowing that, okay, I may not be the most consistent. And because you're not the most consistent doesn't mean that you can't be successful, right? Number two, the next challenge is your vulnerability to external influences, right? You are like energetic sponges. You are constantly, again, sampling, absorbing the energies and emotions of those around you. And so it can make it challenging for you to maintain your own sense of self and make decisions that are independent of external influences. And so you may find yourself feeling like chameleons, right? Adapting to the energies of others and feeling like, well, I don't really know who I am, right? Who am I? Because you just notice that your energy is always changing all the time. And again, this is a part of the mechanics of your design, right? You're here to take in the energy around you. You're here to amplify it. You're here to reflect it back. But then there's got to be a period of time where you are to yourself, where you can be in your own space, your own energy, with no other auras or energies around you, so that you can come back to your center, come back to what feels right for you and what feels good for you, and to be able to connect to who you are versus becoming enmeshed in the energies of others. All right, third challenge that comes up is identity exploration, right? And I kind of just leaned into that a few moments ago. And so you're going to be facing an ongoing journey of self-discovery, right? Your openness can lead you to questions about your identity and how you fit in or where you fit in. You may experience a sense of not fully knowing yourselves or evolving your self-concept frequently. And that is okay, right? I was just having a conversation yesterday with an individual, and we were looking at her human design chart, and we were talking about this, right? About accepting and being okay with her identity and her concept of self shifting and evolving, right? More frequently than, say, someone who, has more definition. And so know that that is okay. Know that it's all right for you to constantly be exploring your identity, and don't feel like you have to put yourself in this box to have one set identity, because again, that is just conditioning that we pick up from the world around us that says, oh, you're supposed to be one way. None of us are just one way. There are different parts of us all, okay? The next challenge is emotional amplification. And so as a reflector, you can experience emotional highs and lows, like based on the lunar cycle and also based on the people that you're around. because you are amplifying the emotional energy around you. And so it can be challenging to manage. And you may feel emotionally stable, one moment, and then the next moment, you're highly emotional about something. So understanding and navigating your emotional fluctuations can be something that you want to pay attention to. Because a lot of the times you've got to be aware that maybe you're amplifying whatever's transiting right now in the trend is in the cosmos, right? Or you're amplifying the emotional energy of the people around you. Being aware of that so that you can then regulate and bring yourself back down to a space of where you are regulated and kind of neutral in your emotions is going to be important. And then the last challenge here that I want to speak to is the pressure to conform. And so again, in a world that we live in that values consistency and predictability, as a reflector, you may feel pressure to conform to societal norms or expectations. And so this can lead to a sense of not really giving yourself permission to fully express your unique and changeable nature. Okay, so recognize where you may be feeling like you are pressuring yourself to be a certain way or to be set in a certain way. And today, in this moment, give yourself permission to liberate yourself out of that conditioning field and embrace the quality, your changeable quality that changes from time to time, from moment to moment to moment. Okay. All right, now let's lean into some alignment strategies. Okay, we've talked about what some of the challenges are. Now, what can you do to practice alignment, to begin to do your work? The first one I want to share with you, I'm going to share with you just 3 things here, but the first one is, lunar cycle awareness. Because as a reflector, you're deeply influenced by the lunar cycle, you can actually really benefit from tracking and understanding the lunar phases and how they impact your energy and your decision making. So paying attention to your emotional fluctuations and insights during different lunar phases. When you do this, what it allows you to do is it allows you to make more aligned decisions, and it allows you to take advantage of your lunar cycle nature, right? Also being mindful of what transits are every single day. One of the things, there's a website, I think it's on Jovian Archives site, and I'll link this in the show notes for you, but it's called Just Now Chart. And when you can just Google that. You can go to Google and put in Just Now Chart, and the Jovian Archives site will pull up. And when you click on it, it pulls up a human design chart and it shows you what is currently in transit. So if you are a reflector, I would invite you as part of your, alignment strategy to check that out every single day and see what planets are transiting which gates and where that gives you definition in your chart. Okay. So noticing what planets are highlighting specific gates within your human design body graph can really, help you feel like you're more in control of what's going on within you and how you're experiencing the energy that day and how to best navigate the decisions you need to make. Okay. The second alignment strategy I'll share with you is to surround yourself with supportive and empathetic people. And I kind of said this earlier in our show today, but you need to really be selective about the people that you allow into your lives. And so being in the company of individuals who respect your openness and your changeable nature and offer you empathy and support can be incredibly beneficial for you. These relationships can provide you with a safe space for you to really explore your identity, to explore your decision-making process without feeling the pressure to try to conform. And this reminds me of a client that I worked with. He is a reflector, and he had a couple of nonprofit businesses. And one of the things that we had to work on was restructuring his team of people and restructuring his business environment, where they worked at, and the people on his team to individuals who were good for him, were right for him, right? Because that is so important for reflectors. And so he was feeling challenged about growing his business and about, the different events that he wanted that were, on the books to do. He was feeling challenged. And the reason he was feeling challenged is because the people he had around him, they were not correct for him. The environment that he was in wasn't correct for him. And as a matter of fact, as we were working together during our time together, he also actually moved. he moved into a space that felt more aligned for him in his energy. So place is very important to you as a reflector, and the people that you are around is so important to you. So take that in mind and do the work that you need to do to make sure that your people, your community, and your spaces feel good to you. And then the last alignment strategy I'll share with you is to really practice regular self-reflection. And so really engaging in regular self-reflection and self-inquiry, either through journaling, meditating, and other like introspective practices can really help you connect with your own inner wisdom and better understand your authentic self. Okay, so really take time to do this and to also explore like your ever evolving identity, and recognize that change and transformation are a natural part of your design. It is a natural part of your design. Okay, so pay attention to that, be with that, and embrace that. Okay, embrace that. All right, everybody. So that is all the good, juicy details and information about reflectors. So to wrap this up, we talked about your purpose as a reflector. We talked about your aura, your strategy, what makes you a reflector. We talked about your role and your purpose. And I shared with you some challenges and some alignment strategies. So I will link everything in the show notes for you. Like I talked about the Just Now chart, I'll put that in the show notes for you. If you don't know what your human design type is, I will leave a link for you there as well, so you can check that out. And if you have any questions around what we discussed today, I invite you to send me a DM over on Instagram. I'm at Soulful Success by Design. Let me know what your questions are, okay? And know that this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? We are just covering just a tiny, aspect here. There's so many more layers, but we've got to get the foundational pieces first. If you have any colleagues, friends, or clients who would benefit from hearing today's show, please share it with them. I would love that. And the last thing I'll share with you is I'm also going to be leaving you a link to download a beautiful free gift that I've created for you called the Alignment by Design Guidebook. And this is to support you in creating authentic success and self-expression from helping you gain a deeper understanding of how you're aligned, right? So in the guidebook, you're going to find detailed information on your purpose by human design type. You'll have an understanding of your internal power by type. And there will be soul-aligned journal prompts to support you in your alignment. So I will leave the link in the show notes for you to download that. I'll leave the link for you to book a reading if you're ready to dive deeper into this and really get some more detailed insight and information around your specific design. And remember, if you're interested in the 6-Figure by Design VIP Day, just send me a message over on Instagram with the words VIP Day, and I will send you the details. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This has been a pleasure. I hope that you have found so much value and insight in this. Please follow the show if you are not currently following the show, and leave a review. I am so enjoying your reviews. I'd love to know your thoughts on this, and it also helps to push the show out there more so that more people can really be exposed to this amazing system of human design. All right. Thank you so much for being here. And this is Kendra with Soulful Success by Design. Go out there and create success from your soul on your terms.